Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hang on, I fucked it up. I didn't have my mic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Geek. My name is Ren Geekness, and I am your solo host today, Zach Pope. It's his birthday. I believe it's his 26th. He turned 25 last year. Um, it's his birthday, and so he's out for the weekend. He's having fun. He is celebrating like he should. And so you got just me all to yourselves this week to talk some juicy stuff. This has been the week of drama. If there was a subtitle for this episode, it would be drama. Drama in Star Wars, drama in Marvel, drama in Warner Brothers, drama in professional wrestling, but that's not what we usually talk about in this show. So, anyway, drama everywhere, and everyone is eating it up. Now, obviously, you know what our main topic is. It's in the thumbnail, it's in the title. And I basically chose that one because not only I feel it's the one that gives the most fun discussion, but it's the one drama topic that we understand the most about, that we do have a fuller context to. It's the one that uh, it's easier to understand or at least to discuss, and the one that's been going on for a while now. A ton of other stuff we're going to talk about. I'm sure you guys have questions. In fact, I've already seen a few questions regarding to one of the other dramas going on. But irregardless of that, irregardless is not a word. Regardless of that, thank you so much for joining us on this show. My name is Ryan. In case you don't know me, thank you so much for tuning in live here on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on Spotify. Whether you're on a jog, on a commute, whether you're crushing it at the gym, whether you're in the Mandalorian searching for the living waters of Mandalore with baby boy Grogu, and you're listening to us on your Naboo Starfighter, thank you so much for listening to us. And of course, the show has 3 segments. First, we start off with our weekly ranking. That's what, in this case, just me. I will go through the things I watched this week and ranking them from worst to best. After that, we go to the live chat and check out what you guys have been watching, how you rank them. Then we go into our main topics. Then we go into discussing what is on the title, what is on the thumbnail, and from then on, the most fun part of the show, answering your live questions. Now, there's 3 ways of asking questions. One of them is just going to the community tab, check the post there, says time for your This Week in Geek questions. There's the thumbnail there, and you can ask whatever you want there, and I will do my best to get to those questions. But this is the most important part. If you want to guarantee your question is answered and you want to support the show because you like the show, because you like me, because you like Zach, there's a tip link in the description, or of course the super chat feature. Not only will you ask great questions that we discuss on the show, but we guarantee to answer those questions, never end the show before answering them, and of course you'll be supporting the show, which keeps the show going. That's the whole point. So without any further ado, let me go into my weekly rankings. And I didn't watch a ton this week. I know we've not had shows every single week. I'm not going to be going back like 3 weeks. So I'm just going to rank what I watched this week. And I liked everything I watched this week. Same kind of except for last week when I watched Shazam Fury of the Gods. But this week, I liked everything I watched. And in last place comes Rye Lane. This is a film that came out at Sundance. It's out here in the UK. I believe it's only about to come out in the United States. And this is a very visually colorful, inventive, fun, charming rom-com. When it comes down to this script, does it really do anything new? Does it really do anything special? Honestly, not at all. And that's why I didn't blow my mind from a script point of view. And so, yeah, I liked it, but it's not one of those I see myself going back to. But I understand why it's getting so much love from so many other people. On top of that, I'm going to have the rewatch John Wick Chapter 2. I love this entire franchise. There's no flaws, really, no overt flaws per se with this entire franchise. They're just banger after banger after banger. Right now, they're 4 for 4. I think they're really, really strong movies, strong action showcases, strong mythology builder, really strong character studies. And this chapter might not have been as strong as the first one, might not have been as strong as the ones that followed it. But that said, they are all spectacular. And if chapter 2 was to be anyone else's favorite in the John Wick franchise, I wouldn't have any arguments against that. It's one of those franchises where I don't feel there are any wrong answers. On top of that, I'm going to have Daisy Jones and the Six. I watched a bunch of episodes this week because I'm watching them like in parts. I'm not binging this entire thing. Last 2 episodes came out last night, and it's a spectacular show. You've seen musical biopics of real people. You've seen musical biopics of fake people. This feels very well done. This crafts in a lot of character work. It essentially, like in a metaphorical sense, tells the entire history of rock and roll itself. The songs are fucking bangers. Sam Claflin, Riley Keough, Camila Morone, they're excellent. Everyone is excellent, really, in this show, but those are like the 3 characters for me. And it's just a great show. It's my second favorite show of the year so far, after The Last of Us. So if you haven't been watching Daisy Jones and the Six on Prime Video, go watch it because you are missing out. On top of that, I'm going to have John Wick Chapter 4. Again, there's no wrong order to this franchise. Just something has to be in third place, and I adore this film. I might go to watch it again tonight. I haven't made my mind up, but either way, I absolutely love it. On top of that, the original John Wick, the movie nobody thought anything of, the movie that looked like this should go straight to video. Why is this coming to theaters? And then we watched it, and we found out. This is just the first chapter of an entire mythology expansion that we didn't know we wanted, didn't know we needed, but we should be so thankful that we get it. And on top of that, number 1, the best one out of the franchise for me, Chapter 3, Parabellum. Best action set pieces in the franchise, most spiritual journey in terms of character building and mythology expansion. But to me, it's also the movie that mostly challenges John Wick on a personal level, on his ideas and worldview, puts things into perspective of the journey so far and moving forward. I just love Parabellum. It's the movie that, to me, where the franchise peaked. And this franchise is all peaks. There's no fumbles. But Parabellum really does the trick for me, and I absolutely love it. So that's my weekly ranking. Let's go into your guys' weekly rankings. Eric Thorpe reviews my weekly ranking. Spider-Man 94, the best Spider-Man TV series ever made. Number 4, The Flash. Number 13, The Mandalorian. Episodes 2 to 4. I would definitely put that much higher, especially because you have The Bad Batch in front of it. Season 1, I even thought you were watching Season 2, brother. Not Season 1 it's trash. I would put Bad Batch below Boba Fett. Continuing with Eric's weekly ranking, number 11, Tolkien. Number 10, Copland. Number 9, Singing in the Rain. Number 8, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. That is shocking, brother. That is shocking. Number 7, John Wick Chapter 2. Number 6, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Number 5, Shazam! Eric, you're breaking my heart, man. You're breaking my heart, brother. Number 4, John Wick Chapter 4. Number 3, Justice League. Number 2, John Wick. And number 1, The Last of Us, Episode 9. Maybe I should have ranked that episode because it's another masterpiece. It's another banger. The Minician Scott. Number 6, Gotham Knights. Number 5, I have not had the balls to watch it. I don't think I'm going to, but just sharing with you guys. I have not wasted my time with that. Number 5, Superman and Lois. Number 4, Chicago. Number 3, Sully. Number 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Need to have some words, brother. Need to have some words. Number 1, The Shining. It's an all-timer, for sure. It's an all-timer. Nathan Madigan, good friend of the show. Number 6, Puss in Boots. Number 5, Babylon. Number 4, Cool Hand Luke. Number 3, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Number 2, Triangle of Sadness. And number 1, John Wick. Another good friend of the show, Geek. Number 8, Cocaine Bear. Number 7, The Mandalorian Season 3. Number 6, John Wick Chapter 2. Number 5, Scream 6. Number 4, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Number 3, Ted Lasso Season 3. Number 2, The Last of Us Episode 89. And number 1, John Wick. I don't have any arguments in regards to how number 1 and 2 should flip. I think your order is correct. If you had put it the other way, I think it would also be correct. So just bangers. Just bangers. You watch bangers, brother. There's no wrong answer. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your weekly rankings. Gigo, if you forgot Shazam 2, good. I wish I could forget it. But anyway, let's move on to our main topic. And our main topic, Star Wars, specifically Star Wars movies, because Star Wars TV is doing pretty well. Book of Boba Fett was not good, but it did numbers. Obi-Wan was underwhelming, but it did numbers. Andor is spectacular. It was one of the best shows of the year in 2022. And then we got Bad Batch back, which I'm slowly catching up on Bad Batch. I'm still at the beginning of the season. Vast improvement on season 1. Not that it was a tall task, but vast improvement on season 1. And now we got Mandalorian season 3, which, in my opinion, is not being as strong or as clear in its path as the past seasons have been. That said, it's a really good show. I would still put it above Obi-Wan so far this season. But when it comes to the movies, 4 years. I believe the first batch of new projects after The Rise of Skywalker we heard announced was during that Disney Investors Day big event where they revealed Loki and they revealed so many things for Pixar, so many things for Marvel, so many things for Star Wars, which was in the height of the pandemic late in 2020. I remember that day I was traveling back home for the holidays the next day, and I still stayed up to watch that whole thing. They announced Lightyear, I'm remembering now, and Turning Red, and all those things. And we heard about Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron. We also heard about something else that I think it was the Taika Waititi one, where he was working on it with Kristen Scott Kearns, I believe that's how you pronounce it, who co-wrote 1917. And she eventually went on to work with Edgar Wright in Last Night in Soho, another amazing movie. And eventually Patty Jenkins dropped off. There was a whole drama about it. And eventually we hear about more Star Wars projects. We hear that Kevin Feige is going to be producing a Star Wars movie. And Kevin Feige is a major Star Wars fan, which makes it awesome, really, that it's happening. And this week, in fact, the last couple of weeks, really, what is going on? Because Kevin Feige's movie gets canceled. Patty Jenkins, it doesn't get canceled. It got canceled a long time, a while ago, and then it gets buried further into the ground. And then as these projects were being canceled, more projects came in, which is weird. And so we got announced that Damon Lindelof of Lost, of The Leftovers, of Watchmen, he's going to be doing a Star Wars movie. That gets canceled. The Rian Johnson trilogy, which for a while I've been very unsure if it actually happens, and that is not confirmed anywhere reliable to be canceled, but there are rumors swirling around it. And honestly, I wouldn't doubt that it does get canceled at this point, because you look at the landscape of movies in Lucasfilm. That's the name of the company, by the way, Lucasfilm. And at this point, it's been 4 years since the last Star Wars movie. And when you take into account pre-production, or even before that, when you take into account development, green light, casting, getting your director, writers attached, pre-production, production, post, release, all that, it's going to be at least 6 to 7 years before we get the next Star Wars movie. And right now, Taika Waititi's is the only one that has not gotten canceled. And even after all these cancellations, this week they announced that Stephen Knight, writer of Peaky Blinders, Taboo, the Tom Hardy car movie, Lock, he's coming in to write a Star Wars movie. Is he? I'm sure he came in. I'm sure everyone else that we talked about came in. Is it actually going to happen? Because we've reached the point where Star Wars, in terms of movies, it feels like what at this point isn't quite yet the old DC, but it feels like the DC that came to Comic-Con and announced all these 10 movies 7, 8 years ago, and 1, 2 of them happened, if you want to be gracious about it. We've come to a point where there's no way you can get excited for a Star Wars movie announcement, because project after project after project after project after project gets canceled, gets thrown to the ground. And it started even before the sequel trilogy ended, where every now and then, okay, one director dropped off, we got this new director in, okay, movie comes out. But there also was one or two are like, okay, these directors are going to do something, and then creative differences, whatever. Now, we don't even hear about creative differences because you don't get to the stage where there can be creative differences. And it's so mind-boggling how you can have the brand of Star Wars. And I'm not saying I'm not there in those rooms. I don't see the discussions. I don't know anything about what actually happens in those conversations, if there are even conversations, which I bet there would be. I don't see those discussions. None of us do. We're not privy to those smaller details. But at this point, it feels like there's no actual effort being made of, let's get talent, let's get them to work on a project, let's bring that project to life. If before there were issues of creative differences, sure, those are usually like scapegoaty excuses so the blame doesn't go on anyone. But really? Cancellation after cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. What are we doing? And like I said, TV is doing well, where we get 2, 3, if we want to count the animated with live action shows as like 1. We're getting Mandalorian this year. We're getting supposedly Ahsoka this year. And in 2 weeks, there will not be a show because I will be at Star Wars Celebration. So I can't be doing a show. And I'm going to be bringing you guys coverage. I will be covering the event. But that said, they talk about we're going to announce movies. We're going to have like these big panels. They usually happen at a Comic-Con or Star Wars, all those things. Are we going to get excited? I'm sure in the moment, whoever's there, myself included, obviously, we're going to get that dash of euphoria where you're surrounded by fellow Star Wars fans. You love Star Wars. You want to celebrate Star Wars at Star Wars Celebration. But coming out of that convention center at TXL here in London, are we going to get excited? Unless they give us proper talent attached, release date, title, details on what it is about. If they just announce, I don't know, Edgar Wright is coming over to direct a Star Wars movie, and that's it. Yeah, the other day I read on Twitter that Lindelof was coming to do a Star Wars movie, and like a month later, because it didn't last long. It's got to be a month, 2 months tops. Like 2 months after being announced, he dropped off. His movie got canceled. Like it feels like it didn't even get off the ground. So it's just immensely underwhelming to see how Star Wars is doing so little to absolutely nothing in the movie landscape. And I just don't like it. I want to have Star Wars movies come out. I want to celebrate Star Wars on the big screen because, and especially with the Rise of Skywalker being the last one that came out, you're going to take 7 years to wash that taste out of people's mouths. And I'm saying this as someone who does not hate The Rise of Skywalker as much as most people do. I think there are a lot of redeeming aspects about that film, and it does commit a lot more sins that it does actual good with its ideas and concepts and all that. And it feels like Star Wars is lost. It feels like Star Wars is directionless because even the shows, some of them that I absolutely adore, and their event television, those episodes are coming out, I'm sitting down as soon as possible to watch it. But even those stories, they're filling in gaps between the stuff we've seen, between the stuff we love. Sequel trilogy, original trilogy, there's The Mandalorian. Prequel trilogy, original trilogy, there's Obi-Wan, there's Andor, there's The Bad Batch. Sequel trilogy, original trilogy again, there's going to be Ahsoka. All these shows, I'm very excited for them. I cannot wait to turn on my TV when they come on and watch them. But are they moving the story forward? Let's compare it right now to something that is very apropos, John Wick. I know we don't have spin-offs yet of John Wick, but all these chapters in the book of Wick move the story forward. Not only of John Wick himself, they move the story forward of the world. They open more doors into us understanding this mythology, the hierarchy of the high table, the history of like this assassin ecosphere within the world they inhabit. And Star Wars, they work as these individual projects that, hey, sometimes they'll connect in a more prominent way or less prominent way to everything else. Like, even me loving The Mandalorian, even me loving Andor, and Andor did give us brand new insight into the rebellion itself and painted it all in shades of gray to very effective degrees. I don't feel that I'm understanding these characters and the world in a more expansive way as these shows happen. Obi-Wan certainly took away from it in that sense, where Andor excelled, Obi-Wan really undermined. And it's just so frustrating to be a Star Wars fan right now. To be someone who in the 2010s, you got the new Star Wars is being sold. We're going to get new Star Wars movies. And so 2015, 2017, 2019, we're going to get a Star Wars movie on Christmas. And 2018 with Solo, which I quite like. I like Solo quite a lot. But now we have nothing. And we've got nothing for so long, and we see all the news. This person comes in, this person is out. This person comes in, this person is out. That person comes in, that person is out. These people are coming in, those people are out. Now we have nothing to look forward to. They've indoctrinated us into not believing anything is coming out. They've indoctrinated us into not getting our hopes up. There's no new hope right now for Star Wars. And I think Star Wars needs a new hope. Maybe Star Wars Celebration changes that. Maybe Star Wars Celebration is, okay, let's go back to zero and now let's really fucking go for it. And maybe they do. I hope so. I am sure in that moment, in that hall filled with people, they're going to announce some things and are going to get excited. But in the long run, I don't want to come out of that convention center. I don't want to come out of that weekend and look back and think, huh, are these actually going to happen? And I don't want to be on Twitter 2 weeks from then, or a month from then, 2 months from then tops, because these usually don't take long. And see on Twitter, oh, this movie that got announced, a Star Wars Celebration, it was the big thing announced at the event. It's not coming. It's the talent, Edgar Wright, dropped out of the project, and so the project itself is being scrapped, it's not being made, and we go back again to zero. And there's no forward momentum for this franchise. And it's letting not the entire franchise, obviously, because again, we have TV, but it's letting a big part of the franchise, the part of the franchise that actually brings money to Disney, it's letting it die. It's rotting right now because nothing is happening. And it just sucks that it got to the point where this is the big topic. This is the most Star Wars is undermining itself. That's what it feels like. And I wish it wasn't the case, because I really want to get more Star Wars on the big screen. I doesn't matter if it's the sequel trilogy, doesn't matter if it's a completely different spin-off, doesn't matter if we go back to the original Republic, doesn't matter if we go back to the High Republic. I don't care. Do something. Because as exciting as the projects are, they're event television, but they're not events for the entire world. And that really sucks. That really sucks. So those are my thoughts on Star Wars killing its own movies, killing its own babies, and killing them really fast. And that being the most consistent part of this franchise. That's another problem. The most consistent Star Wars has been for a while now is at canceling big movie projects. That's not a good sign. So let's see what happens at Celebration. Let's see what happens over the summer with the release of Indy 5. And what happens going forward. I want Star Wars movies back. That's my main takeaway. Give it to me. Like, make it happen. You are the people who own the IP. You are the people who know the talent, who can bring in the talent, who have the money to give to the talent so these movies can happen. So fucking do it. Star Wars. It's Star Wars. The longest running franchise ever. Like, you don't let it die. You do not let it die. So let's see what happens. All right. And with that out of the way, let's go into your questions in the community tab. Remember, I'm going to do my best to get to all these questions. But if you want to guarantee your question is answered and you want to support the channel while you ask a great question, consider the tip link or the super chat feature. All right. And I need a place for my mic to go. There we go. And we're starting with Geek. Thoughts on the whole Victoria Alonso situation getting fired from Disney, from Marvel Studios. See, this, it was one of the topics that I considered. As soon as I thought it yesterday when I got home, I'm like, okay, what's going to be the topic tomorrow? And the first thing that came to mind was the Victoria Alonso situation. But it started on Monday, and to yesterday, stuff was still coming out. And it's a very curious situation where the more you read about it, the more information comes out from this tangent and from that tangent, and all these threads become intertwined. The more information comes out, and the less you feel like you know. And that is such a strange thing to feel in things like this. We'll talk about it next week as more information comes out. I'm sure this story will continue to develop because, again, it developed for a whole week. The news broke out on Monday that she was fired. And then Tuesday had an update, Wednesday, Thursday, yesterday on Friday. So it's just strange. I didn't feel like we had enough context to talk about, especially because I'm doing this alone. So it wouldn't be that entertaining to begin with. So yeah, right now it just doesn't feel like we know the whole story. It doesn't feel like we know any of the story at all because we got all these things coming in and wait, is this the reason? No. This was the reason. But no. This was the reason. No. This was the, and so All these things come out, and I'm like, I feel like I know as much about this as I knew on Monday, even with all this information coming out. So we'll see. Lady Aaron, what are your thoughts on the Oscar ceremony this year and thoughts on who won the awards? I like the ceremony. I quite like the ceremony. Who won the awards? There was too much given to All Quiet on the Western Front. There was nothing given to Babylon, specifically score, which was a fucking sin. Um, and yeah, shame that the Fablemans went home empty-handed, as well as Lady Gaga for Best Song. Lady Aaron, thoughts on James Gunn directing a Superman movie? Yeah, he's directing a Superman movie. Let's see. Lady Aaron, with Ash Ketchum's final episode airing yesterday, will you miss Ash after him being in the anime for all these years? No, because I stopped watching a long time ago. So I won't miss him. I will check out, I think, the new one to see if I like to see like how different it is, how different it feels. But I got no emotions, no opinion on Ash leaving the anime. The current anime, that is. Gico EP, thoughts on the whole situation with Shazam, Zachary Levi talking about it on Instagram, the whole beef with The Rock and Black Adam, and Davey Sandberg and Rachel Zegler coming out about it. I'm not sure what that last part of David F. Sandberg and Rachel Zegler coming out about it means, unless you're talking about like them defending the movie like being good. Number one, it's not. Number two, really, are we bringing out this whole drama on Twitter? What are we, 5 years old? Jesus, it's just a mess, this entire situation. I'm not taking sides right now because everyone right now feels very petty. Everyone involved in this feels very petty. And these are all people I either really like or love. So it's a shame that I feel like this about it. And it's a shame that some of them, specifically Zachy Boy, they're acting this way about it. That's not how you handle this situation. To Zach, Rachel made a post about it, which I think that it's people's opinions, okay? It happens to everyone. Like, nobody's personally attacking your movie, which she is one of the best parts of Shazam Fury of the Gods, and that movie does not have many good parts. But yeah, the way everyone is going about it as a whole just feels petty, and like that's not how you handle this situation. What are you doing? So I just don't like seeing this happen from anyone's side. So yeah. Lady Aaron, which is M2 not doing well at the box office or critically, do you think we are starting to see some sort of superhero movie fatigue at the movie theaters? No. And could this possibly affect other upcoming movies like Guardians 3? No, there is no superhero movie fatigue, just like there is no drama fatigue, just like there is no sci-fi fatigue, adventure fatigue. What are other genres? Comedy fatigue, political thriller fatigue. Those don't exist. What we get tired of, what we have fatigue of, is mediocrity fatigue. I don't agree that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was mediocre, but a lot of people did. Fair enough. And they got tired. We're seeing fatigue of, oh, people are saying this one isn't very good. I might now go to watch it. And let's be honest, the situation with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and Shazam Fury of the Gods is very different. It's extremely different. In regards to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, no. Right now, at least, I don't see it being affected in terms of having underwhelming box office, because it's James Gunn. He's the talk of the town right now, and let's be honest, it's for the better that he's the talk of the town. I know there are some people who are doubting him, some people who don't believe in his vision, but overall, he is the talk of the town in a positive sense. People love overall Guardians 2, Guardians 1, Guardians 2, and we just had the holiday special, which people loved. And now he's announced to write a Superman movie, direct a Superman movie. Just became the entire face for the future of the DCU, people are going to have their eyes open for this film, unless reviews start coming out and say, yeah, Guardians 3 is really not that good. Unless that happens, I don't see this film underwhelming or having bad box office at all whatsoever. So yeah. Lady Aaron, in honor of John Wick 4 being out, what is your favorite moment of John Wick throughout all of his movies? Ooh. It's tough not to say. No, it's the character introduction in the original John Wick. From when Vigo calls Aurelio, he's like, I heard you struck my son. Yes, I did, sir. May I ask why? Well, because he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. And Vigo turns around. This powerful, even the way they shoot it, which is like this man overlooking all of New York City. This is the most powerful man in the world at that point, as far as we know. And as soon as he hears the name John Wick, he's like, oh. And from then you move to the scene where his son comes in and he punches him in the gut after having a shot of vodka. And he's like, what? Because of a fucking nobody? And Vigo's like, that fucking nobody is John Wick. And that moment is when we get the full picture of who this man is. Forget what we knew about the trailers going into the film. Just like taking the movie, the story and context. All we knew about this man was that he is mourning the loss of his wife. He just lost the one person he loved and that loved him, for all we know. He gets this last one present. He gets someone else to love. This adorable, sweet, small little puppy. That's a representation of the love she had for him. And a representation of, even though she's gone, you still deserve love and you still have love to give. And that gets taken away. And so this entire thing, this Vigo's monologue is giving us the full picture of what his son just did. That's the best moment in this franchise for me. That to me is the greatest character introduction of all time. I could say like the Continental Invasion at the end of Chapter 3, Parabellum, but yeah, that character introduction to me, like there's no beating it. Master of Gaming, what do you think of Vittorio Alonso being fired from Marvel Studios? We addressed that. Master of Gaming, what do you think of Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy being canceled by Disney recently? It hasn't. I expect it to be, don't get me wrong, but as of right now, it has not been canceled. As far as we know. As far as there's official news about it, there is not. That and the Taika Waititi project are the only two things that might still happen. I don't think they will. I'm not counting on it because they've set a precedent, but as of right now, they're not canceled. Lady Aaron, I definitely have to ask this, but what are your initial reactions as to what happened in Best Score category for the Oscars? Disappointed. Yeah, like, what the fuck? Really? The trombones over everything in the Babylon score? Just, it was robbery. It was robbery. It's one of those... Like, for years, I believe the Academy loves to somewhat reward Spielberg, but they don't want to give him, like, the big prize, even though he has deserved it in the past. He deserved it this year among the nominees, as far as you ask me. And it feels right now like the same thing is happening with Justin Hurwitz. Like, fucking really? Really? Okay. All right. Lady Aaron, season 1 of The Last of Us is officially over. How would you rank the episodes of the season and why? Not going to rank it. And what are your favorite moments of The Last of Us season 1? Favorite moments? I posted it on Twitter when the finale came out. I teased you guys for weeks about it because I saw the finale. I had screeners. And so... I saw the finale before it came out, and I told you guys, like, there's a moment in this finale where, like, It never happened before. It hasn't happened since, where I had to pause what I was watching and take a breather because it completely broke me. And it's that's not even in the game. It's the moment where Ellie and Joel sit down and he confesses like he tried to shoot himself. He missed. And Ellie goes, "Time heals all wounds." And there's a pause there because Joel, he is still so broken. He doesn't want to open up, even though by this point he feels this incredible bond with this little girl. And he pauses and he finally confesses it wasn't time that did it, which is his way of saying I love you. But at the same time, that literal line, and you see Bella Ramsey doesn't say anything, Ellie doesn't say anything. She just, fuck, you love me? That's what she's saying without saying anything. And she feels the weight of being loved in that moment. To me, that's the whole season right there. That's the whole journey of these characters. And it's a show filled with amazing sequences, amazing moments. The conversation with Joel and Tommy in episode 6, that's what's going to get Pedro Pascal his Emmy nom. But to me, that moment in episode 9 is my favorite one. Lady Aaron, thoughts on some shows like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel ending with its 5th season, You ending after its 5th season, and Succession ending after its 4th season? I don't care. I don't watch any of these shows. It was actually bad luck because you asked about 3 shows and they're all shows I do not watch and I have absolutely no interest in. You looks lame as fuck. It looks bad as shit. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see a promo for that, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why would I be interested in this? Why is anyone interested in this? Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I haven't tried. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I'm like, yeah, that looks all right, but I've never loved it so much as to wanting to watch it. Succession, got 2 episodes in, and I didn't dislike it. I quite like what I saw, but I only liked it to the point where next day I wake up and I'm like, what am I going to watch? Watch X, Y, and Z, or should I go back to Succession? And I didn't feel that. It reminds me of Breaking Bad, of how I felt about Breaking Bad, where, yeah, this is a good show. I recognize why people love it. I think about watching things, and that comes nowhere near my number 1 or 2 or 3. Like, I prefer to watch many other things over it. So again, it's not like I have specific issues with that show, but again, sorry, but I don't watch any of these, so I don't have any thoughts on any of these ending. Nor do I care that much. Where are we? Here we are. Lady Aaron. If you guys could add any category to the Oscars, what category would you like to add in and why? Casting, stunts, and yeah, that's it. Casting and stunts. Those are the 2 I would add. I think I had another one, but I don't remember what it is right now. I've heard suggestions for vocal performance, but I feel that would be cheaping it out. I think vocal performance should just be inserted into performance. Just like motion capture performance should be inserted into just performance. So yeah, those are the 2, stunts and casting. Jigo EP, what are some popular and classic movies you haven't seen? I actually made a video for this, like, was it 2 years ago at this point? I think it might have been last year, like in the summer, before Venice. I'm blanking. Off the top of my head, I'm blanking right now. But I've never seen Back to the Future Part 3. I've never seen The Godfather Part 3. What else? What else have I not seen? Let me search for my video. Those are 2 big ones. Ren Geekness movies I've not seen. I think the title of the video was like 10 movies I've shockingly not seen. Yeah, 10 shocking movies I have never seen. It was 1 year ago. Yeah, it's going to be 2 years in August. So yeah. At the time, I had never seen the original West Side Story. I fixed that before. Evil Dead. I've never seen any of the original Evil Dead trilogy. Blues Brothers, I've never seen. Well, I'd never seen Poltergeist at that time, but in the meantime, around Halloween in 2022, they played Poltergeist, they played The Thing, they played The Lost Boys in the local cinema. So I got the Poltergeist fix. Um, I had never seen the Matrix sequels before Resurrections came out. I've never seen Fargo. Never seen Fargo. I love the show, the seasons I've seen of the show, but I have never seen the movie. Um, what else? What else? What else? What is this? I've never seen 12 Monkeys. I've never seen 12 Monkeys. Um, Never seen Midnight Cowboy. Never seen. Well, I've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off at this point on the video. I had never seen it before. I had also never seen Nightmare Before Christmas, but that was also fixed around Christmas 2021, where my local cinema played it. So those are a few. There are many others, believe me, but off the top of my head. Lee Aaron, did you get any movies on physical media recently? And if so, what did you get? I have not. I should have something arriving this week, I hope, that Paramount is sending to me. So, yeah. Between Shazam and Quantumania's underwhelming box office and reviews, to put it nicely, we're not off to the best start for comic book movies of 2023. That's true. Even though Quantumania made bank, it had a big fucking drop, only because it had big box office opening weekend. I know people say it's superhero fatigue, but do you think it's more audiences wanting something new and fresh to change it up? I think it's audiences wanting something better. Not good, not solid, not mid, as the kids say. They want greatness. They want, and give me a second, Marvel Phase 3. They want the streak of going from Civil War to Doctor Strange, to Guardians Volume 2, to Homecoming, to Ragnarok. Most people like Ragnarok. So, to Ragnarok, to Black Panther, to Infinity War, to Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is not one of my favorite movies, but it was a palate cleanser. So, adding to your question, it felt fresh compared to what we had just seen in Infinity War. To Captain Marvel, again, not one of my favorite movies, but a lot of people loved it. Captain Marvel, a comic book character only niche hardcore comic book fans know, made a fucking $1 billion. And then from Captain Marvel to Avengers Endgame to Spider-Man Far From Home, people want that. They want banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. They don't want, yeah, it's solid. They don't want, yeah, it's good. Go watch it. They want, oh my God, go see this movie. And whether they go see it and afterwards think, oh, that was not that good. It's good, but they will go see it if they hear that word of mouth. If they hear that the people who see it first are excited and are mind blown about it. I will tell you, people exaggerated on Thor Ragnarok. It's not that good. People exaggerated on Captain Marvel. It's not that good. That's my opinion. Overwhelmingly, the people who saw it first, the people that began spreading the word of mouth, that then got the most people to go see it, they were like, holy shit, this is incredible. Problem right now is that the people that are seeing it first are like, yeah, it's good, or it's all right, it's not that good, blah, blah. Immediately, you get dissuaded a little bit if you're a general movie audience. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Are there any specific song pieces from 2022 movie scores that you still listen to this very day? And if so, what are they? No, I just listen to the scores themselves. I don't remember like any particular small piece. I don't go for just one track. I either listen to the score or I don't at all. Jigoy P. Ren, how does it feel to be wrong about best original song? I told you not to was gonna win. It's still a shit song, man. I truly 1,000% strike me down right now. People did not vote for the song. People voted for the dance number. And the dance number is fucking phenomenal. The performance at the Oscars was so much fun. The song is pretty shit. People don't even know what they are saying in those lyrics. So they got no business voting for that song. So I 100% think it's bullshit. That said, it was not the strongest year for best song. because there was one song I don't even know the movie it's from. I don't even remember. I just remember Sophia Carson sang it. Um, then there's the Everything Everywhere All at Once song, which the performance was dreadful. Um, and the song itself isn't very good. Rihanna's Lift Me Up is a song that very much fits the moment it shows up in the movie. But the song itself, it's all right. It's a big showcase of, look, Rihanna sings well as shit. Yeah, we all know this. We knew this already. So it's not that good a song. Natu Natu, it's pretty garbage as a song. Hold My Hand is a great song and was like the only one like, yeah, that should win best song. So I 1000% believe Natu Natu won because people voted for the dance number, for that entire sequence, not the song itself. But congratulations to Natu Natu. You still won, so who cares what I think? Jigo P, when looking back at the Multiverse of Madness, do you ever wonder what Scott Derrickson's original pitch for the movie would look like? All the time. All the time, man. I did as soon as he was announced. I did when he was let go. I did when Remy was announced. I did when we first saw the trailers. I did when I first saw the movie. I've done it since seeing the movie, which I quite liked. I don't love, but I quite like Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. I always wonder what Scott Derrickson's pitch was. I would really, really love. I would really, really love to see what his idea was. Gico EP, if you had to pick a famous director, to direct an MCU and DC movie that you know won't happen, but you love to see, I'd love to see Guillermo del Toro's Doctor Strange. Fuck, I would eat that up. And I definitely wouldn't count him out of DC, of DCU. Ooh, as a director, I would love to see doing an MCU or DC movie. That's a good question. Damn. It's always these questions where I blank on it. And that really sucks. But I mean, we've played around with this idea at the time, and it's not going to happen like ever in 1,000 years, but a Steven Spielberg Fantastic Four movie would be amazing. It would be so good. What else? It's always these ones where I blank. I always have these ideas, and then come the question, I'm like, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking like in my reviews to see if a director pops out. I don't. You know what? Chad Stahelski to do an Iron Fist movie. Bring the Iron Fist into the MCU, or hell, to do Shang-Chi 2. Destin's gonna be busy with Kang Dynasty. Let him do his big thing, his big crossover. Bring Chad Stahelski to do a Shang-Chi movie, and bring in Iron Fist through Shang-Chi, even though Shang-Chi in the comics is usually the one assisting Iron Fist, but now Shang-Chi in the MCU, he's a fucking superstar. So bring in the Iron Fist through that. Those are two I actually really like. I'm proud of having those ideas. Devonation Scott, thoughts on Zack Snyder reveals? Do you think the Snyderverse is somehow restored? It's not. Fuck, man. It's dead. It's gone. Please. It's farewell at the SnyderCon event. I don't know what SnyderCon is. I've never heard about it. All the announcement is we're playing Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League at the specific cinema in this one town. And I saw the tickets were like $150. Are you fucking nuts? I hope it flops. You should never charge anywhere near that for film tickets. I don't care if it's a special event. Movie tickets are movie tickets, okay? Yeah, it wasn't really an announcement. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's what the whole thing was? Okay. So yeah, I wish they were playing in London. I would 100% go to see Man of Steel, but not for 150 pounds. Jigo EP, when do you think Secret Invasion and Loki 2 are coming out? Secret Invasion is early summer, and Loki is late summer, like end of summer, September, it's somewhere around that. Devin Scott, have you seen the Power Rangers Once and Always Netflix trailer, and will you be watching it in April? Hell yes, you know it. You know, I did a breakdown on Get Your Comic Con. Go check it out right now. I have a breakdown of the trailer in a written article. And yeah, yesterday I was asked if screeners were being sent out for it, and I told my friend I haven't asked, but I will not take no for an answer. So you know I'm going to be reviewing that shit as soon as it come out. That was a cool trailer. Then Aaron sends a birthday message to Zach, who's not here, unfortunately. And Jico EP, what are films where you simply don't get why they have a cult following or reappraisal? The prequels, The Amazing Spider-Man, Superman Returns. It's not getting as big a reappraisal, but there are people out there who are taking drugs and somehow think it's a good movie. What others? I don't remember any others. They're like, because reappraisal and cult following are two very different things. So yeah. Demency Scott, now at every episode of the last season, Last of Us season, what are your top favorite moments from each episode? Will season 2 be divisive? No idea. I talked about my favorite moments already. GKP, with John Wick out, imagine we get a crossover with Wick, Charlize Theron from Atomic Blonde, Bob Odenkirk and Nobody, and Brad Pitt and Bullet Train, John Wick and the Wannabes. It would be a pretty short film. It would be 5 minutes. Brad Pitt, I think Bullet Train is actually the best out of all those movies, apart from the John Wick franchise, which is counting Atomic Blonde, Nobody, Bullet Train. Bullet Train is the best out of those three. Brad Pitt is the first one to die. Ladybug, that character, he's the first one to die. Then Bob Odenkirk's Nobody dies, and then Charlize Theron, she puts up a good fight. She's the most capable fighter outside those three, but then she dies against John Wick. But yeah, it would be a pretty short film. GGOP, y'all just saw Dungeons and Dragons. Do you think it will make bank based on good word of mouth? Also think, God, it's better than the 2000s movie with Jeremy Irons and Marlon Wayans. I think it will do well. I'm not confident enough. I'm not aware enough of where it's at. Like, what's it tracking for? What are general movie audiences thinking? Because some general movie audiences have seen it in the States because there was that big Amazon advanced screening. I've seen it twice already because there was a secret screening in my cinema, and then that was a Saturday, and then Monday there was the press screening. So I've seen it twice. It's so much fun. And I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played it. I never cared to learn to. I never cared to join a squad, a team, a guild, a group, I guess. So I think it will do well. I don't think it's going to blow box office, but I think it's going to do well, especially for something as niche as Dungeons and Dragons, right? So I think we should expect a success story, but I wouldn't expect like breaking $1 billion, for instance. Actually, what's the budget on it? No. That's not what I want. There it is. Budget 151 million. Yeah, I think it's gonna profit. I think it's gonna profit for sure. Which one of these two are Disney Channel starlets to now? Which one of these two Disney Channel starlets to now is now the hottest young stars right now? Do you see winning an Oscar down the road? Okay. Jenna Ortega or Zendaya? I think it's possible that either one or both win an Oscar. Right now, which one would I be more confident banking on? Right now is Zendaya. Right now, I feel Zendaya is because she's so specific about what she does, or at least she's more specific about what she does. I can see her getting it first, at least, getting it sooner rather than later. Do you think Brendan Fraser and Ke Kwan will get more work after winning their Oscars? I sure hope so. Well, Ke Kwan, we're about to see him in Loki season 2. But for both of them, I hope so. Like, why would you not cast either of them? Especially because they won an Oscar. Like, do not cast them because of that, but studios are looking at that. Studios should be in love with these comeback stories and want to take advantage of it for selfish reasons, but still there. Would still give them work. It will still allow us to see them on the big screen in movies and in shows, whatever. Like, I don't see a reason why we won't keep seeing them. So yeah. I watched a review complaining about Keanu Reeves' line delivery in John Wick Chapter 4. Why? Because they have no taste? Since you both loved the movie and gave it 5 stars, what would be your rebuttal on those saying Reeves' acting in the movie was terrible, or even how at the point he's a superhero and laws of physics are broken? No laws of physics are broken. Is he a superhero? Not at all. In fact, from the very first action sequence, the movie focuses on him being tired as fuck, catching his breath. Now, are there moments where like a normal person would have died? Yeah, but there are moments like that in movie 1, movie 2, movie 3, movie 4. This movie does not have you giving into suspension of disbelief any more than the previous 3. There is suspension of disbelief, absolutely, but not any more than 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, after every single fight, John is fucked. He is tired. He is gasping for air, man. So it's not like he goes against the truck and gets up and walks like nothing happened. No. Maybe he should have died, sure, but he's still like dragging himself to where he needs to be. So yeah, lots of and this is probably his. Is it his best performance? I don't know. He hasn't given a bad performance in this franchise, but nah, man, Keanu is fantastic in this movie. He's the most melancholic out of any of the movies in this franchise. In this one, he's the most introspective, I will say, and you really get a sense, like, not just physically, like you look at John Wick through this film and it's like, this man is tired. This man is emotionally, psychologically drained, and he just wants this all to get over with. And there are a lot of moments. This is probably the movie, even though 3 hours long, this is probably the movie in the franchise where Keanu has the least amount of dialogue. Hang on. There it is. So it's the movie where it allows Keanu to stretch his emotional acting muscles the most. So nah, man, you're on drugs if you think his performance was weak. Bad drugs, not good drugs. So yeah. Lady Erin, how's the moving process going along for you, Ren? It's been over for a while. I've moved. It was over on a weekend. Like, I did it Saturday, Sunday. That's it. So yeah. Lady Erin, have you listened to Ed Sheeran's new song "Eyes Closed"? And if you did, what are your thoughts on it? Really like it. Reminds me a lot of the sort of vibe and sound of Divide, which is the best album. Yeah, it starts off. Yeah, okay, this is good, but I've heard kind of this before from him, and then he just has this way of giving a different vibe yet a familiar feeling to something. Where it's melancholic but also hopeful, uplifting but also sad at the same time. Like, that's what I love about his music. It's just very complex in its instrumentation, lyricism, the melody, the beat itself. Like, if you just look at the beat, it's a cool beat. It's a cool beat. You're tapping a foot to it. So yeah. Let's Hope Subtract is a great album. GKP, here's something music related since Meteora turns 20 years old today. What's your favorite Linkin Park song? Such a tough question. I love New Divide from Transformers 2. I know that's a weird answer, but I just really fucking love that song. I think I'm gonna be a little bit of a cliche bitch and go with In the End. I think that's their best song. Breaking the Habit is amazing. One Step Closer is fucking awesome. Um oh, what's that? Heavy. Heavy is amazing. Heavy is amazing. Um that's not for Meteor, I know. But yeah, Meteor is a banger album, man. I'm gonna be heading out after finishing the podcast, so that might be my soundtrack for the day. Lady Aaron, since you are loving, I love Daisy Jones and the Six. Have you gotten the album from them called Aurora? And if you have, what's your favorite song? Um, I have. It's on my Spotify. I've downloaded it. Favorite song is Honeycomb. That's the best song. There's no weak song, by the way. That's a banger album, and the whole thing is like that. That's my music, rock and roll, 70s vibe. That's the music I already listen to. So musically speaking, this show was made for me. So yeah. All right. Nathan Madigan, would Babylon and First Man unfortunately being box office disappointments with Damien Chazelle have to pivot back to working with smaller budgets like on Whiplash? It's tough to say no from a logic perspective. Like with everything you point out, First Man, Babylon, box office disappointments. Yeah, I will have to say yeah, only because I don't see a studio. What was the budget on Babylon? Let me just check. Babylon, because it wasn't that high. Movie. There it is. Hang on. 78 to 80 million dollars. Yeah, I don't see a studio going, here's 80 or here's 100 million dollars unless he signs on to do a blockbuster. But I can see him still working in the 40s, 50s. I don't think they're going to take that much away from him. So I see not so much a strong pivot, but a readjustment. Okay, let's take something away from my next movie in terms of budget, and let's see how that works. So yeah, I just hope he keeps doing his thing. He keeps giving us Damien Chazelle movies because I love this man. Like the John Wick franchise, he is 4 for 4. Nathan Madigan, thoughts on David Sandberg's comments about wanting to return to directing horror after being stressed out by the current superhero discourse online. More power to him, man. Absolutely. I did not like Shazam Fury of the Gods at all, but I do not blame him whatsoever. I think he was given a piss poor, shitty script. And I cannot wait to see what he does because I love Lights Out. I love Annabelle Creation. I love his little shorts that he does. I really want to see something horror from him, whether it's original, whether he adapts it from, I don't know, a Stephen King book or something, or someone else's book, or a novella, whatever. He does Goosebumps. I don't know. I want to see him do horror again because this man knows how to direct. He knows how to direct a horror. And yeah, the superhero discourse online is fucking tiring. And I can only imagine as you're directing a superhero movie, you're at the epicenter of it. And it can't be fun. It can't be healthy. It's got to be draining. And again, if you're directing one of these movies, like you can't escape being surrounded by it, being like caught in the middle of this tornado of discourse. So I want him to do what's best for him. Well, and if what's best for him is to go back to horror, go back to horror, man. If what's best for him is to go and do John Wick 5, go do John Wick 5. It's what's best for him is to change from DC to Marvel, go to Marvel. But he wants to go to horror, go to horror. To give some love to the incredible Justin Hurwitz, how would you rank his scores of Guy and Madeline on a park bench, Whiplash? We don't rank. Like these questions, they need to study, to analyze, to revisit these scores, like, and prepare for rankings. Like, don't ask about rankings because this stuff, like, rankings just don't work off the top of my head. Like, I wouldn't give you a fair thought out ranking when I can defend my positions and opinions fairly, because I have not had time to think about it. So for rankings, I don't do them. Not on like the on these questions, on these live questions. Let me just check. No super chats. All right. Where are we? Lady Aaron, how would you rank best scores? Again, no rankings. Nathan Madigan, with A24 winning big at the Oscars, that's true. 18 nominations and 9 wins. And financially, with Everything Everywhere All at Once giving them more awareness, how do you think this will influence the company going forward? I don't think much, honestly. I think the only thing, at least right now, that I can see changing is that they will stretch the limit of their budgets. So I don't know, but if their limit before was, we don't go over $25 million, I think they're now would be going, let's stretch, the most we'll go is $40 million, something like that. Like right now, I don't see them doing much else apart from turning to the Daniels and going, hey, you got any other scripts that you might want us to produce? But that's a Daniels specific thing. In terms of how they're changing, like for other filmmakers that they want to work with, that they're bringing in, I think the only thing that changes is the top of their budgets. Because even after that, like I can't think of anything else that would change. So it's tough. It's not like I have like a list of things that could change about a company, like everything they could have into perspective right now. But yeah, I think they just changed that they could give more budget to their filmmakers. Going back to Halloween, Dominic Scott, going back to Halloween Kills, Ran, have you seen the extended cut? Do you agree that they should have kept the last scene in the theater cut, set up Halloween ends perfectly? No, I've never gone back to Halloween Kills. I've seen it once. It was enough. I wanted to vomit afterwards because it was shit. So yeah. Dominic Scott also asks, Ran, is Lightyear a good movie? Watch my review and find out. Or did you ever watch Buzz Lightyear of Star Command? I don't think they're mutually exclusive, but yes, I did. I grew up with that show. I had the movie on DVD. I think I had it on VHS, and eventually I also got it on DVD. And I watched the show. That was a really fun show, man. That was so much fun. That was it. It was so goofy and it was so weird, and it had a self-awareness about it that I really liked. Yeah, that was a really fun show from my childhood. I wish it was on Disney Plus, so we could all revisit it. But yeah, Lightyear is a good movie. Go watch my review. It's on my YouTube channel. Or just type on YouTube Ren Geekness Lightyear and it should show up. I hope. So yeah, and that is the last question, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, for spending a little bit of your Saturday with me, or Saturday morning, because I guess most of you, if not all, are from the United States. Saturday afternoon for me, because I am in the UK. So thank you so much again. There will be a show next week. We don't know yet what's going to be the topic, but if the Victoria Alonso situation continues to develop, it's probably going to be that. So Zach will hopefully be back next week, and it'll be a dual co-host show. Go watch John Wick Chapter 4. I'm probably going to do that. Go listen to Daisy Jones's and the Sixth Aurora album, because it's a fucking banger. And yeah, stay tuned, because I'm watching Air on Monday, so the review will probably come on Wednesday, because I have another screening Tuesday, which I can't talk about what it is yet, but I am very excited for it. And then 2 weeks from now, Star Wars Celebration. Let's go. Thank you so much once more for watching. Have a good weekend. And until the next one, love each other and love the movies. Oh, and go watch John Wick 4 and watch my John Wick 4 review. Bye-bye, everyone.